So I'm assuming that you're here because you would like to have a different relationship with money, right? Are you in the right room? This is going to be a little bit interactive. I'm not just going to come up here and talk at you. So how many of you know, and this is, so in order for us to create transformation in 30 minutes, because how many of you know that transformation is what will change you, but information is just more information? So are you here for information or transformation? Awesome. Me too. So in order to create that, here's what's required. I'm going to show up and give you everything I can. And my request of you is for you to show up and drop any stories, any beliefs that you've been carrying around with you for 10, 20, 60 years. And just for the next 30 minutes, can we just put those on the shelf? Is that okay? Sure. 2 people. So the rest of you, I don't know what you're going to do for the next 30 minutes. But are you willing to just put it on the shelf to explore a new possibility?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Shane. Got you. All right, so can I ask you a personal question? How old are you?
I'm 25.
25? You think? Or it's kind of like 25? Anyone else have to remember what their age is? Okay. How old are you? 26. I wish I was sitting in a room when I was 25 years old like this. So thanks for being here. All right, so a couple of things. So let's meet me in the middle. And one of those things is to be brutally honest with yourself. So how many of you are here to change your money or would like to? So anyone who didn't raise their hand, I'm assuming that you have millions of dollars hiding under your bed. And it's a really comfortable place to sleep. Okay, a couple of things. So a little bit about my story. So I, in 2008, had the wonderful adventure of being fired. Anyone else have that experience? They say it was laid off, which is a fancy word for being fired. And that's how I started my business. For a couple years before that, I knew I wanted to do something different. Anyone else relate? But I was too afraid to actually do something different. And so the universe gave me a loving kick in the butt to get me to wake up. Anyone else have a loving or not so loving kick in the butt to wake you up to something has to change here? And so that's where I started my big sexy dream of being an entrepreneur. And it was really hard, really hard. And for 2 years, I struggled. And it wasn't like, oh yeah, I've got, the sugar daddy. No. I didn't have savings. I had such bad credit, I couldn't even get a credit card. I had $25,000 in student loans in addition to other stuff, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for my life. And there's that moment of when you know you want to create change, but in that moment, I felt like such a fraud that I was like, how in the world could I teach people how to live their life and follow their dreams when I cannot put gas in my car? So what do? So I studied a lot. I read a lot of books, did my affirmations every day. Anyone else with me? How many of you, truth, are workshop junkies or self-help book junkies, okay? Done it all. And I thought that if I meditated just right, if I did my affirmations, if I was a good person, then my money would change. And I was really pissed when it didn't. Year after year after year. Anyone else relate? And so I started having a new approach. And I started getting really curious about if all of this stuff worked so well, I want it to work faster. I'm not waiting another 10 years. This is going to happen now, and I've got to change this. And so I got really committed and really fierce about it. And I started changing my money. So my vision was to produce conferences for women. And I thought, sure, I know 1,000 people. I could get 1,000 people. Anyone else see the problem with this? And so my first event, I had 250 people. That was really cool. And I lost $40,000. It was in this venue. And so when I was driving here today, I was like, holy crap, full circle moment. 2 days, 250 people, amazing experience. The highlight of that experience for me was at the closing ceremonies. I had African drummers and dancers and everyone on their feet. Imagine 200 people plus on their feet dancing. And this mom comes over to me and she points to a teenager in the front row dancing. She said, "See her?" I said, "Yeah." 2 weeks ago, she was suicidal. And I didn't know what to do. But your event came along and I thought, what the heck? Let's try it out. And I remember seeing this teen girl walking in like this the first day, not looking at anyone, and I knew that she didn't want to be here. Not just at the event, but on the planet. And then 2 days later, there's this girl dancing and celebrating and smiling for the first time in years, according to her mother. It was worth it, right? And then I cried all the way home, not tears of joy. I cried because I had $40,000 of invoices sitting waiting for me at my desk, and I had no idea how I was going to pay for it. Because in all of my attempt to transform the world, I forgot about me. So how many of you are trying to change the world, but you're forgetting about your own bank accounts? You're forgetting about yourself. There's nothing glorious about that. But we're taught that that's what we should do, right? So that's what I mean is for the next now 25 minutes, are you willing to put all those stories and all of the beliefs and all the shoulds and especially all of the self-judgments on a shelf and just give yourself the freedom to learn some really simple tools that if you use them, I promise you, your life will be different in a year. Would that be okay? Okay, so first of all, you guys can come and take a picture of this later, so don't feel like you have to like scribble all these things down. Let's go over 6 core principles. Number 1, energy is everything, everything is energy. You guys get that, right? And I'm talking about the actual molecules of energy. My beliefs are energy. My business is energy. Guess what else is? Money. So nothing is as solid as we make it out to be. Is this a big aha for anyone? Like when I really got this, it was like, my bank account isn't solid. My money beliefs are not solid. My money history is not solid because guess what? It doesn't even exist anymore. But how many of us live every day like it's real? But it's the past. It doesn't even exist. Number 2, and if there's nothing else you got, I hope this is it. You are not broken. You're not. Your beliefs might be a little screwed up. They may not be working for you anymore, but you as a divine infinite being are not broken. Really think about that. And number 3, the truth will set you free, but first, it will piss you off. And you guys can laugh at my jokes, it's okay. All right, number 4 is the universe always responds. That's my little typo. So anything that's not spelled correctly up here, just let me have it. Okay, let's just pretend it's spelled correctly. The universe always responds. And I'm going to teach you why that's so important in a few minutes. Number 5, everything is a choice. This was really hard for me to wrap my head around. Because when it doesn't feel like a choice, it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like life is happening to you, right? But everything is a choice. And number 6 is what you judge, you cannot change. I'm going to say that again. What you judge, you cannot change. So how many of you have tried to change your money by judging the crap out of yourself? And we don't think that we're doing it, right? We're like, oh gosh, if I just had more money, then what? Well, that's a judgment. So these principles are going to make more sense in just a few minutes. But first, let's just talk about what are some of your beliefs about money?
There's never enough.
Never enough.
A necessary evil.
Oh, a necessary evil.
It comes, it goes.
Oh, that's a good one. Was that you, Shane? Yeah. Anyone else? It comes, it goes. Sometimes it goes faster than it comes in. Anyone? So it comes, then it goes. What else?
Hard to come by.
Hard to come by. So it's just, can we just say it's hard? Like money is just hard? Okay.
You have to work hard.
Work hard, yeah. It cannot be easy. No way. And what else? Something over here? Anything else? So this is it? Come on. I'm not going on until like 2 other people say something. Your emotions are tied to it. So emotions equal money or lack of, okay?
It's not the most important thing.
Oh, it's not the most important thing. So money is not important.
It's the root of all evil.
What was that?
The root of all evil.
The root of all evil, yeah. Let's just put money as evil. Okay. There's something deeper here. Are you willing to have money? How does that feel in your body? Just pay attention. Let's just everyone say this. I am willing to have money.
I'm willing to have money.
How does that feel in your body? Heavy? Or happy? Or
Happy, like
happy.
something's jumping inside.
Oh, cool. How else?
Kind of like, oh, really? Really? Are you? Really?
Yeah. Like we say we are, but then it's like, oh, but am I? Anyone else?
Conflicted.
Conflicted. Exactly. It feels free. Yeah. What if the one thing that could change is your willingness to have money? How many of you say, I want more money? I want more money. So here's a really cool fact. The word want originally means to lack. If you actually look in a dictionary printed before, I think, 1930 something. I don't remember dates. That's why I never tell jokes, because the punchline, no way. And if any of you are curious about this, then email me, because I actually have a printout of an actual dictionary. Want is to lack. Isn't that interesting? How many of you just got an aha? How many years have you been saying, I want more money?
We live in opposite world.
What was that?
We live in opposite world.
Well, yes. So it's like the universe always responds. Has the universe been responding? I want a different body. I want a different relationship. I want the car. I want this. I want the vacation. And if it doesn't happen year after year after year, and then you start judging yourself like there's something wrong with you, but what if you actually just changed one word? Said, I'm willing to have it. So how many of you, truth, when someone has created something phenomenal, or you go to a Christmas party in someone's amazing, gorgeous house, and there's that little twinge of envy, or even jealousy, would you like to change that?
Yes.
Would you like to actually be inspired by that instead of judge the person, the thing, and yourself because you don't have it? So the number one promise I made today is the thing that will change your vibration. And here it is you say, I'll have that. It's that simple. Because energy is everything. Everything is energy. And so when you see that thing, and there's that initial judgment of yourself of like, oh man, I'm smart enough. I should be farther ahead. I've worked hard enough. I've done enough dang affirmations for me and a village. So why isn't this working out? And it's the willingness to have things that when you see that thing, and instead of being jealous or envious or judge yourself, say, I'll have that. Because energy is everything, everything is energy. What happens to your energetic field, the universe always responds, right? It's like, oh, you'll have that? Everything starts responding to deliver it to you. What if you didn't have to work for it? I'm not saying no action. I'm not saying that you can just sit on your couch and try to meditate your way to money. Been there, done that too. I'll have that as the first step. Now, how many of you are like, oh, yeah, that's a great concept? Good luck with that. A little bit? So when I first heard this, and I thought, I'm willing to do anything, because what I've been doing is not working. And I know that if I do this another 20 years, it's not going to magically change. So that's one of the first things I started changing. So that $40,000 loss on my first event turned into a 6-figure profit, over $100,000 profit on my next event. And it kept growing from there. I changed my marketing, I took different action, but I changed my energy. I was willing to have money. And a couple years ago, I was being judged because I was all about the money. And I was really offended by that. I was like, man, people don't even know the causes I donate to. They don't know that I'm paying off mountains of debt. Like, they don't know my life. You know, like what's going on here? And you know what? They were right. I was all about the money. I've always been all about the money. But see, I was about the money lack before. So I was still all about the money. But I'm the one who changed. And so if we had more time, like, we would really get into some shadow work and really playing with these judgments that you use against yourself, because in a matter of moments, minutes, I'll teach you how to change that. So just play with me for a minute. So I'll have that. That's number one. Number two, hang on. Let's talk about the power of questions. So how many of you know Sylvia Nibley? A lot of people probably know her in this community. She has this deck of cards called inquiry cards. On every single card is a question. And I was introduced to her deck of cards and the power of questions years ago. And I really started getting intrigued, because here's what I started noticing, is when I asked a question, instead of saying an affirmation about something I wanted to change, it started changing. So let's just do a little experiment. You guys with me? So I want everyone to actually put everything out of your hands and just really be with me for a couple minutes. You can take notes in a second. I want you to say out loud, I really suck with money.
I really suck with money.
Okay, say it one more time, because he didn't say it. Just kidding. How does that feel in your body? Yeah. That's inspiring, isn't it? Are you just so excited and inspired to go out and create more money? So now, I want you to just like do an energy sweep of like all that in your body, whatever that just brought up, just like take a breath. I want everyone to take a breath through their mouth, because we breathe a lot like this, and it's all in our head. But take a breath through your mouth, and it includes your body, okay? Now I'm going to say it first, and I want you to see how it feels differently in your body. I wonder what kind of magic and joy I could create today with money. How many of you got an expansive feeling? Does it feel differently than the first one? Okay, so do you think that if you start feeling differently, you would start believing differently? You would start taking different actions, and you would start getting different results? Pretty basic, pretty easy, right? So earlier I said, what you judge, you cannot change. I really suck with money. Is that a judgment? Do you even have proof in your life that maybe that's true? And so is it a judgment, or is it a reality? It's still a judgment. How many of you are judging yourself like crazy? And you think that it's because you want to be honest with yourself? Anyone? There were 2 people, so 3, okay. So let's look at some other questions. My favorite question, super basic, but it will change everything, is what else is possible? 4 words, what else is possible? Can I do a quick time check?
Almost 10.
Okay. So the first time I heard what else is possible, I was actually being coached by someone, and everything she said at the end of it, she said, what else is possible? She said it so much I wanted to punch her in the face. I was like, stop saying this is so annoying. She said, but Angela, really, what else is possible here? So what else is possible with my money that I've never even considered before? What else is possible with the money in my bank account right now that I've never even imagined? I promise you this, if you start asking questions, questions expand possibilities. You want to write that down. Questions expand possibilities. Conclusions and judgments kill possibilities. So how many of you know that when you're wanting to change your money, you've been saying, oh my gosh, something else has got to change here. The universe always responds. So what command did you just give to the universe when you say something like, I suck with money, something's got to change here, oh my gosh, this sucks. The universe keeps expanding what you're putting out there. So when you ask a question, it will change things. Now, how many of you might be thinking, great idea, but you don't know my situation? Anyone? Or are you guys getting this? Okay. So what are some questions that you can think of right now that you would like to ask money? Any hits or insights? Anyone who's not too excited about speaking up? Oh, yes. Yes, so money. So here's a question. Money. How would you like to come into my life today? And here, how many of you are in business or want to start a business? Okay, cool. So here's what I know about business, is there are sometimes the cash flow sucks. And there are sometimes it works. And so when I'm in a cash flow dip in my own business, that is always the question I ask. Money. Because everything is energy. Energy is everything, including the consciousness of money. Money, how would you like to come into my life today? Money, what can I do today to generate more of you? Now notice how as we keep asking questions, there's more expansion happening in the room. And there's more expansion happening, and see it in your eyes. You're like, huh, I've never quite thought of it this way before. And you can start asking more questions, because here's what happens. And here's the one thing that I will say about, I call this expansive questioning, because it expands possibilities. Your brain will want to answer it. This is not a question for your brain. This is a request to the universe. Why? The universe always responds. So what else is possible? How much fun can I have today generating money? What if you said that before you made sales calls? That would be a game changer. Instead of like, I hate calling people, I hate talking about money, this really sucks, they're gonna think I'm stupid. It's like, wow, I wonder how I can serve people by inviting them into my world with how I create transformation. That's a long question. But it's like, I wonder. I wonder what else can be generated here that I've never even considered. And your brain will want to answer it, but it's about being the question. And so when you go about your life, you go about your day, watch the inspiration start showing up. And when you get the inspiration, this is where most people stay in the really fun energy of visioning. How many of you know that it's like, it's way easier to vision and dream and scheme, and then when it's actually time to have the sales conversations, to market yourself, to put yourself out there, because holy crap, people might actually reject you. It's okay, because you've got your own back. And so when that starts happening, you will get ideas. People will call you out of the blue. I was doing some questions, and this is part of my daily ritual of just asking questions over and over and over again. And my practice in my business is if something wants to happen in my business, I get to create the cash for it. Because part of my $40,000 loss and those money habits was about accruing a lot of credit card debt. It's like, nope, if this wants to happen, I get to create the cash for it. So I was creating additional cash. 2 people within 30 minutes messaged me and said, hey, I want to work with you, when can we talk? And I will say that's a regular part of my life now. I don't have to chase people, because when you ask questions and you take action on what you get, the universe what? Always responds. And what's really cool is we're all part of the universe. Me, you, money, we exchange hands through each other. And so it comes through people oftentimes. So let's go back to this. Especially number 2, you are not broken. 5 minutes, right? So truth. Are you willing to be honest with me? How many of you have had a belief or have a belief that there just must be something wrong with you? Like you just can't quite get it. Like if you're so divine and so smart, then things should be easier. Anyone else? Like, and even if it's just for that moment, you're just like, man. So here's what I know. And this is I'll end on this note. That there's not one person on the planet who's broken. And I've seen and worked with a lot of people who've had some really horrendous stuff happen. Really horrendous stuff. Like the kind of stuff where I don't know how they breathe after it. And I've done humanitarian work in communities where girls, teenagers, they have no rights over their own bodies. Like I've seen a lot of stuff. And the thing that gets me through it all is I know that no one is broken. That everyone can change something because everything's a choice. And what is the number one way that you can change what feels like the most solid, the most impossible, is through questions. Is start asking more questions. Even if the only question is what else is possible here? What else is possible? The universe always responds, and energetically things will start shifting around you. So a couple of things that I just want to leave in closing is one, how many of you are willing to take a 30-day challenge of asking more questions? Cool. Awesome. So this is a promise I make every single time I speak about this. I think I even made this promise when I spoke at the retreat with Paula. That if you do this and really take it on for a year, and something significant in your life has not changed, I want you to email me, and I'll pay you $1,000. I'm dead serious, because here's what I know. And I've seen it with hundreds and hundreds of people, is when they really start taking this in and they start asking questions, they start tapping into the power that was always there, that was covered up with so many false beliefs and so many lies they believed about themselves, that the most miraculous things change. I've created change in my business in the last couple of years that I thought would take 5 to 7 years. I'm going to Australia next week and speaking to 200 entrepreneurs there. And when I was presented with the opportunity, I didn't have the approximate $5,000 set aside for that. So I started asking questions. I wonder how easy this could be. I wonder how much fun I could have speaking in Australia. I wonder if I could even fly first class. That would be really cool for a 20+ hour flight. And here's what starts happening. I had enough miles that my flight to Australia cost me $140. Yeah, that was like miracle number 1. The event that was supposed to have 100 people now has 200 people. And I'm the exclusive marketing expert at this event. So like all of these things started lining up. And what I did is I tuned into the opportunity and I asked this question. So how many of you are plagued sometimes with making the right decision? Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? I don't know. So here's a question. Is if I chose this, what does my life and business look like 5 years from now? If I chose this, what does my life and business look like 5 years from now? Because energy is everything, everything is energy. We can get an energetic sense of, will this create more expansion in my world? Or I shouldn't do this. This opportunity is actually a distraction, right? If I don't choose this, what does my life and business look like in 5 years? And so I was my own client when I was presented with this opportunity, and I started asking a bunch of questions. And when I asked the question, if I choose this, what does my life and business look like in 5 years? It was this like, oh my gosh, expansion, joy, freedom. I had no idea how I was going to make it happen, but I followed the energy. So how many of you know that you're following your beliefs in your head, which is sometimes your beliefs lie to you? instead of following the energy. So ask a question like that, and you'll know, is this going to take me closer or farther away? And then you just keep asking questions to start uncovering your next step.
Go quantum, dude!